In early 1258, the Mongol storm broke over Southeast Asia. Under the command of Uriankad Ai, an army of several thousand Mongol heavy cavalry and tens of thousands of Dali troops crossed the border of Đại Việt. The first major clash occurred at the Battle of Bin Lang Nguyen. The Vietnamese met the steppe warriors with a formidable force of 200 war elephants. However, the Mongols, masters of tactical adaptation, targeted the elephants' sensitive legs with precision archery. The panicked beasts turned back, trampling their own infantry and sowing chaos. Vietnamese losses were reportedly almost 10,000 soldiers. King Tran Tai Tong was forced to flee as the Mongols captured the capital, Thang Long. But the victory was hollow. The Mongols entered a ghost city. The Vietnamese had executed a total evacuation, carrying away all food supplies they could and poisoning wells with carcasses. This scorched earth tactic left the invaders starving and forced them to abandon the city 9 days later. As they were leaving, the Vietnamese counterattacked, forcing a full retreat. Peace was brokered through tributary relations, but it was a fragile truce. The Mongols, now the Yuan dynasty under Kublai Khan, grew restless. They demanded more than just gold, silk, and pearls. They demanded the king submit in person and that Đại Việt become a province of the empire. This was absolutely unacceptable for the Vietnamese. In 1278, King Tran Nhan Tong's son of Tran Tai Tong ascended the throne and steadfastly refused to travel to the Yuan court. Simultaneously, the Mongols were eyeing the kingdom of Champa to the south. When the Vietnamese refused to grant Mongol troops passage through their lands to attack Champa, the second invasion became inevitable. This time, the defense was bolstered by a unique alliance. Thousands of Song dynasty refugees and soldiers, who had fled the Mongol conquest of China, joined the Đại Việt ranks to seek vengeance. An interesting side note: it is highly probable that the traveler Marco Polo witnessed these frantic war preparations during his travels through the region. In January 1285, Kublai's son, Prince Togon, led a massive force of roughly 100,000 men southward, launching the second invasion of Đại Việt. Mongol commander Sugetu, who was in Champa's capital, was ordered to invade Đại Việt from the south. Despite initial defeats and the loss of the capital once more, the Vietnamese spirit remained unbroken. When the king asked the supreme commander Tran Hung Dao if they should surrender, the general famously replied, "If your majesty wants to surrender, please cut off my head first." The tide turned 5 months later. Exhausted by guerrilla warfare and the unrelenting heat, the Yuan began to withdraw. Seizing the moment, Đại Việt launched a massive counteroffensive. In the south, Champa and Vietnamese joint forces harassed the army of the general Sugetu, eventually killing him in battle. The retreat became a rout. Prince Togon was so terrified of the deadly poisoned arrows used by Vietnamese guerrillas that he reportedly fled back to China, hidden inside a bronze box for protection. Enraged, Kublai Khan cancelled a planned invasion of Japan to focus on crushing Đại Việt. In 1287, a third invasion force of 170,000 men under Togon returned, this time accompanied by a massive supply fleet commanded by Zhang Wenhu, carrying over 150,000 tons of grain to bypass the scorched earth tactics. It was a logistical masterstroke that failed spectacularly. The Đại Việt navy intercepted and destroyed the supply fleet at Van Don, leaving Togon's land army starving while they occupied an empty capital. By March 1288, Togon once again ordered a retreat. The climax took place at the Bac Dung River. The Vietnamese drove thousands of metal-tipped ironwood stakes into the riverbed. A small flotilla lured the Yuan fleet into the river at high tide. As the tide ebbed, the massive Yuan ships were impaled on the hidden stakes under their own weight. The trapped fleet was decimated in a bloody massacre. Togon escaped with his life, but his father's fury was absolute. Kublai Khan banished his son to Yangshu for the rest of his life. Knowing that the vast Mongolian Empire could launch endless invasions just to prove the point, the Vietnamese navigated the peace with calculated diplomacy. They sent a mission to the Yuan offering to resume tributary relations, giving Kublai Khan a face-saving exit and preserving most of their independence. Unlike other Mongol conquests, Đại Việt emerged uniquely sovereign. No Mongol garrisons were ever stationed on their soil. No Vietnamese king ever submitted in person. No Mongol governors were installed, and the Tran dynasty continued to rule a proud and resilient nation for over 100 years.